Hello and welcome to KennyRoy.com. I'm Kenny Roy. This is the Ask Videomail for the week of December 8th, 2013. Welcome to the site to you new members, and welcome back to the old. The Ask Videomail is your chance to get your question in character animation or performance answered in a video just like this one, but I need your question if I'm going to answer it, so please send your questions to webmaster@kennyroy.com. I go through all the questions that I think, and I answer the ones that I think will help the most people. It's a little late. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and it is the best way to get the most out of the site. I am here late because I have a huge meeting tomorrow, and I've just been preparing like a maniac for it. So just because I have to be all over town tomorrow, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to have time to record this video mail, so I'm doing it tonight. You're going to like it. It's a fun one, but I would appreciate if around, let's say, 7 p.m. Pacific on Monday, you guys are sending some good vibes my way. Just need those good vibes, okay? It's going to be a really, really exciting time if this all goes well. So, and I promise that I will update you. You guys will be the first to know what's going on when things go well. Okay, but let's jump into the question. It's a fun one this week, and we'll talk about it. Okay, check it out. Thank you for that cool question. Okay, so in general, the funny thing is that our job is taking on more and more and more as time goes by. We have to kind of be in charge of doing just a little bit of rigging sometimes, especially if you work at a smaller studio. You have to be in charge of sometimes doing a little bit of scripting. Sometimes you have to touch mocap, even if you're not primarily working at like a mocap studio. If you're not working in games, still you might just get some mocap. One thing that is obviously a huge part of animation is cycles. We don't necessarily have the most robust tools within Maya to handle cycles kind of inherently. The cycles that you're normally going to be getting are just like straight up animation files that have the animation starting on one frame and finishing on the last, and it's kind of like it's assumed that you would know what to do with that if it was given to you. Of course, there's the tracks editor, a way to kind of blend animations together, but to answer this question, we kind of have to figure out how we're going to get the animation on and off of a cycle so that we can put some animation on top of it. Because here's the question, or here's the problem, as I understand it, that this animator is having, and this problem is basically only solved by getting the animation off of the cycle for whenever you want to do some custom stuff, and then adding it back when you're done. Okay, so here it is. The character is walking, and they've got a walk cycle, and then you want to have them like stop using their arms in the walk cycle, and all of a sudden maybe get something out of their pocket. They're still walking. Take it out. Oh, it's a cell phone, and then they hit answer, and they put it to the ear, and then the other arm goes back to cycling as well. Okay, and then maybe at the end of the shot, they put it away, and then both arms go back to walking. So there is actually some stuff going on in the chest. There's some stuff going on in the neck and head. There's some stuff going on in the arms as well. And but with the way that I like to deal with this problem is to break things into layers. Now, it's not super... It's not 100% intuitive or easy to make this work, but at the same time, you kind of get a little bit of leeway from Maya in the way that it does let you go back to kind of like a layered approach after the fact. So let me show you what that would be, okay? Let's jump into Maya. Let's leap head first into Maya. So here's the scene. I recognize this from the male and female walks lecture, and we have our character. And I've already kind of done it here, so let me take a step back and show you. We have our character, and he's swinging his arms, Now this might be a cycle that you get in production, right? Looks totally standard, looks totally like, ready to use. I'm not actually positive that everything is cycled. My bad. I gotta try to remember not to hit the numpad for my numbers here. I'm not sure if absolutely everything is cycled. Yeah, it looks like the foot roll is not cycled. Let me see here. How could you? Cycle. Oops, what did I just do? All right. Well, be that as it may, there's a few things that need to be figured out on this cycle. But the point is this: as you are working forward, and you get this cycle, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to fill my scene with it. You have it in your scene now, and you're ready to go. Well, now I need him to have this section where he stops swinging his arms, and maybe I'll just do something really, really simple where he just raises one arm in the air. Okay? Well, that's not that difficult to do. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to select all the controls that control that arm, the shoulder, this little forearm shaper, or this upper arm shaper, the forearm shaper, the wrist, and that's it. And then this little known button, layers, extract non-layered animation for selected objects. And what that basically is telling you is this: any animation that is not in a layer on this for this object, you're going to take that animation off of it and put it onto a layer, almost as if you created it on a layer in the first place. And so I just did that. All right. So now he's still swinging, but if I select this, and you probably should rename it. I'm just going to call this right arm, like that. Okay. If you select this and you hit play and you drag the weight down to 0, look how the arm isn't moving anymore. Okay. Pretty cool, right? So you turn the weight back up. Okay. And the thing to remember here is that always your layers are additive. Okay, so the start pose on a new layer for your arm needs to be worked out, and it's not going to work for any other combination of layers. What I mean by that is this: if you have like his arm swinging a little bit more violently than your arm animation, your custom animation, you're going to have trouble making that blend with anything else. Okay, why is that? Because like I just said, everything is additive. Additive means that you have, some animation curves on your arm, and even if it's not moving, there's still rotations here. All right. So if you have a start position on a new layer that gets it up to where you want that hand if he's waving, then if you have any other animation added to this, it's going to change it. Okay. So you just have to kind of keep an eye on that kind of thing, okay? Okay, so this is right arm. In fact, we should probably say what it's doing. This is right arm walk, okay? Now I'm going to so I have everything selected still. Now I'm going to make a new layer from selected by just clicking this button on the right, and this is going to be right arm wave, okay? Now, I'm just going to, with the arm walk turned off, knowing that this is the actual start position, right? I'm going to actually change that start position and say that, okay, well, I want it to actually, start from down here, right? All right, something like that. And let's set a key on all this, all right? And so if you look at right arm wave, and if I turn that weight off, you see how it goes to my new start position? That's important, all right? So from this start position, I'm going to have him, I'm going to have him raise his arm. In fact, that little mess up that I did, if I select it, if I'm not mistaken, if I go back, yeah, see, it snaps back to position, because in my right arm, actually, it looks like I reached through all of the base, layers to the base animation. Let me lock that and see if I can still do that. Yeah, see how it goes back to normal. right? It's almost like a constraint. It's like, wait, you can't move that right now, so I'm kind of gonna go back to normal. Okay. So anyway, we're on our right arm wave, right? And what are we doing? We're going to select all these arm controls again. We're just going to key them on this frame, key them on this frame. All right, and we're just going to make it so he's kind of raising his arm. Not too fancy here. Let's not get too crazy. I'm just going to key it straight ahead. Shouldn't really technically be able to move these controls on all of the axes that I can. Kind of doesn't make much sense. Right. So he's kind of doing like a little bit of a wave. Just keying this straight ahead, right? A little bit of a plateau. Oops. A little bit of a plateau right here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Not what I wanted. Fix yourself. And these can probably be just splined. Probably. There we go. Okay. Okay. So he does a little bit of like a wave back and forth. And now, just kind of in the interest of time, because I'm sure me keyframe stuff straight ahead and slowly is not the most exciting thing, let's get it back to the start position right here, and then let's see if we need a breakdown. Yeah, we could use one breakdown. Let's give myself a little bit of room and just kind of have this rotating out just a little bit more and just a little bit of overlap on everything. All right, so obviously not the most super well planned stuff, but anyway, so now we have the arm wave, and it goes back to that start position, that new start position, and it is what it is. It's whatever you like. And now I'm just going to use the weight parameter to keyframe that, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to key the arm walk all the way up again, arm wave down. Okay, so we're just gonna have him. Let's key these both. Just set a key like that. And now we're going to just have him take a few steps. All right. And now let me select my arm wave and see where it is. Okay, it's right here. I'm going to actually move that in a second. Okay. So we're going to have him take just a few steps, and we're going to say on frame 50 it transitions to the arm wave. I'm going to key them both. Okay. And now let me, on the arm wave channel, let me just make sure that we move it to frame 50 like that. And I'm going to take 15 frames to key this up, and as well key this down. And then on the arm wave, select all these. On the arm wave, he kind of gets back to normal, you know, somewhere around frame 90. Okay, so I'm going to say like 80 to 90. Let's transition back a little bit better, a little bit quicker. I mean, key it on both of these layers on frame 80. Go to frame 90. Let's key this up. Key. Let's key this one down. Key. Okay. And then we play it back. There we go. And there we go. Pretty cool. Right? So he takes a couple steps, he does his little wave with his hand, and then he goes back to what he was doing. You see that? Very simple. Just this little wave. Cool, right? So the bottom line is that, I mean, it's a lot easier to do these kinds of blending of mocap and any animation with a tool like Motion Builder. You can do it with the track setter as well. Really, I find that using my animation layers, there's kind of a little bit of a shortcut, almost a cheat, where you can go back to a layered approach even if you didn't do it in a layered approach. The one thing that I need to caution you about is you should probably go back to the right amount of kind of splitting it up for your shot. And what I mean by that is it can get very cumbersome very quickly if you just automatically split everything up by spine, left arm, right arm, neck and head, then like right foot, left foot, hips, whatever, and you have all those animation layers that you just created for all of those different body parts. If in your scene all you're doing is, like for instance in this scene, he just does like a little wave with one hand and goes back to walking, okay? You don't want to have to constantly blend the weight in and out of a huge number of different controls. So rather than do that, kind of like decide in each scene, okay, what should I split out this cycle into when I need to do just like, he's walking and then he hears something. Probably just the neck and spine. And it can be in one animation layer, right? You don't have to do neck and head, and then another animation is just the spine. Does that make sense? Okay. So that being said, think about what each shot needs, and then take your full cycle and then break it up. Right? Now with the treading, I want to answer the question specifically. With treading water, is the same kind of thing as with walking. You have arms doing sort of like a cyclical motion. You have your legs doing like their cyclical motion. So if they're treading water, right, you can break up both arms, you can break up the spine probably, and then both legs if you need them to do something totally different. Like all of a sudden they like start waving their hands and they start sinking and they're like, oh, start choking, and then go back to using their, treading water, right? So really, really, really easy to do as you saw, just to add those new layers and to edit the animation and put new animation in. And then you can flatten the animation as well. You can bake all that animation down and get that final result if you're using like maybe a game engine or your TDs ask you to have something that's like totally baked down. Either one is fine. Cool. Well, it's a great question. I really enjoyed answering it. Super, super fun to do these for you guys. I'd love to get more questions. Please send them to webmaster@kennyroy.com. And you can even send me your Maya file. It's a lot of fun to get Maya files, so I can send them out to everybody, and we can all kind of learn together. The Anim Gym's going great. Everything is going fantastically. Thanks for all your support here on kennyroy.com. I need your good vibes today or tomorrow. And hopefully I'll have, fingers crossed, some awesome news for you guys soon. It's been a great time. Good luck with your animation. And as always, rock on.